Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today you find me out in the Chichester area at the Weald and Downland Museum. If you're not familiar with the Weald and Downland Museum, basically it's a piece of land where they take buildings from all the way round the south, dismantle them and then build them here to, number one, preserve them and to save them, but also to give us access to our living history. So I'm not a historian, so this won't be a history lesson. I will just be exploring the museum as I go. If you would like to know more, then ask down in the comments. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to head up past the old Gypsy caravan, take a tour around the back. It's quite a large area, has got metallised pathways, and they're relatively even, so even if you're not good on your feet, you should be able to make your way around the majority of the museum. But it is quite a long walk, so just be prepared for a long walk. Going to go right the way around the outside, and then we're going to head back to the marketplace, and then we're going to head down to there, which is the set for the repair shop featured on the BBC. So this is an old Romany Gypsy caravan, and the museum acquired it from East Grinstead. I've got some information here. Basically, Mrs. Evington had bought the caravan from a religious lady and lived in it for 40 years near Rye, and the museum have left it untouched inside as per her wishes. So here we have a toll house. This being the gate to block your progress, and here you would have to pay your toll. Got all the pricing structure on it here. It says this toll house came from Beeding in the early 19th century. They did treat the person that operated the toll house to some heat with a fire and even a bed, so whoever was collecting the tolls would be living here. Quite a modest life, I would imagine. So here we have a traditional Sussex barn, the Aisled barn. This has come from Hambrook. This was a threshing barn, and basically the sheaves of corn would be threshed inside here. Now it's currently used to exhibit old toys that the museum's collected. An old wagon here. Can get up inside it. Quite small inside, so but it has even got a little stove in there. This building is the Longport Farmhouse, dating back to the 1500s, and was rescued when they were building the Channel Tunnel in Kent. Traditional timber frames now being used as an exhibition. These funny little corridors upstairs were being used as private offices currently. So this is the Downland Grid Shell building, built in 2002, and this is used to display the museum's collections of tools and artefacts. Lovely little memorial here to Chris Zuna, who was the museum director from 1974 to 2001. I'm sure he would absolutely have loved this view. So this building is fascinating. I'm sure there's one over near Brighton as well on one of the Templar farms, but this basically is a way of gathering water. So basically what you've got down here is the well, And then you've got this massive wheel here, which you'd drop the barrel down into the well, and use this wheel just walking on it to drag the barrel back up. So this is a reconstruction of an Anglo-Saxon hall dating back to the 10th century, but it is a reconstruction, so what we think it would have looked like. In here we've got what would be the bedrooms here, so quite simple, sleeping on sticks and probably hay, wattle and daub walls, and a central fireplace, and that would be where you would serve and eat your food. Here we have a recovered timber crane, and this was recovered from Hampshire on a farm near Alton, dates back to 1900s, and as you can see, still in use today. This is a working museum, so barns full of old bits of wood for use on projects around the museum. So right here we've got a clapper style, and this basically is designed to make it look like a standard piece of fence, but you can do that and that basically to make it into a door. So never seen one before, and quite complex to manufacture, so that might be the reason why it's dropped out of use. So this is a Pendine farmhouse, and this was recovered and moved to the site from Midhurst in Sussex. We'll have a look round inside. Even if you did find something like this in Midhurst, it's not going to look like this. Obviously no lighting in these buildings. Single fireplace there and chimney. Traditional wooden chairs. Your living room. And then over here, a little room to the side. This is the kitchen, isn't it? Wow, that can only just fit in here. And just fit. And over on that side there, we've got the upstairs. So a lot of these buildings don't have any glass in the windows because glass was extremely expensive to manufacture. So I'm guessing they probably would have had some kind of cloth to protect them. See the chimney up there, and then I'm guessing these little rooms here would be used to store stuff to dry close to the chimney. Yeah, these are going to be for children, aren't they? A bit of a struggle to get through. No, it isn't the children, it is the main bedroom. Another fireplace, baby's cot, and then the children's bed over here. It doesn't feel too cool in here today, even with the open windows. Oh, there we go. That's how they would have done the windows. There's a sliding board. There we go. Alright, a little closet over here. It's lit up for some reason, so yeah, I think we all know what that was used for. So this is the Boar Hunt Hall, dating back to the 1300s, and This has been recovered from Hampshire. So this, I don't think was used as a house, it was a sort of central meeting place, probably for the village to come and trade. Probably had many uses over its time, and possibly could have slept here down on these, but I would imagine these are probably storerooms. Let's get the torch out. Yeah, storerooms I would imagine for grain. Some lovely period furniture in there, traditional carvings on them. Great views looking over the Westdean area. Some lovely colours on the trees as they're just turning into autumn. So next we've got a reconstruction of a medieval cottage. So this cottage has been reconstructed based on excavations in the 1950s in Hangleton in Sussex. Got this thatch roof, an vent there to let smoke out, constructed all of flint. Very dark in there again. I'm guessing in medieval times they'd have had candles or fires lit all year round. Just a single room here, and this is the kitchen, and I'm guessing this is the fire. Yeah, so that would have been the fire that had been used to do the cooking. Probably they're putting stuff in there on top of it as well to cook it. Traditional wattle and daub, but yeah, quite modest in its size, and quite cool in here as well. Amazing colours on these beech trees. Right, here we've got a traditional orchard. Yeah, season for apples today. This one is an old threshing barn from Cowfold in Sussex. Inside the barn they've got a demonstration of how you convert flaxseed to linen. So these farm buildings are old sheep and cattle storing sheds essentially, to keep them out of the rain. We've got a showcase of fleece preparation in that one there, and then on display these fantastic wagons. And these barns have been transported all the way over from Kent and reconstructed here, again being used to store the museum's collection of ancient farm machinery. One thing that I can't ignore is that amazing clump of trees right on the top of the hills there. I have planned to do some explores in that area, just haven't quite got round to it, but maybe later next year. So this is the Winkhurst Tudor farm and kitchen. This has been moved over from Kent, reconstructed here. Some quite a big assault on your senses, your nasal senses when you get in here. Traditional oven over there in the corner. You can see where the fires have been burning, blackening, and the smoke just escaping out the roof there. Looks like there is a upstairs section which you probably access from this side. So here we have the Bayleaf Farmhouse, dating back to the 15th century, and this was quite a grand structure, having a central hall, and then we've got bedrooms on the ends there. This one has been moved all the way from Chiddingstone in Sussex to here. It's one of the central pieces, I think, to the Weald and Downland, in that they often carry out reenactments inside there. You've got a roaring fire, so you can smell the 15th century even just walking past. Right, let's venture upstairs. Space was at a premium in these days, so the stairs were incredibly steep. Wouldn't want to fall down those, would you? And these are the simple beds, not much bigger than a single bed these days. And again, we've got shutters that go over the windows here. I guess they just sit on there and are probably fastened at the top.
Do you still have no spreadsheet?
Yeah, but it just temporarily.
Right, we'll head upstairs. Again, very steep stairs in these buildings. A bit more of a fancy bed with the curtains round, but number one, the curtains obviously would have given you privacy, but number two, obviously it would have stopped some of these drafts coming out from these windows. And interestingly, we think IKEA have got all the good ideas these days, but you've got an underbed bed for your children to roll out, and wouldn't have to go too far to the toilet, would you? And drops it out onto the road, and you can see why some of the towns in medieval days they did say that the streets were running with sewage. Got some traditional farm buildings here. This one's a granary up on these stilts here to keep the grains dry. So not all of the cottages are not being lived in. So this one from Westdean, built in 1846. Through there says it's a private residence. It was a great place to come with the younger children. We've got all of the traditional animals on display. Maybe that should be the new Exploring Sussex theme tune. So this is the Tindles cottage, built in 1720 from Ticehurst in Sussex. It's quite a large book giving you all the history of the cottage, but I'll just skim through, let you have a little look around. So looks like this would be part of the kitchen or food preparation area. A big cupboard, and this looks like a lean-to like you often see on modern houses, and the fire on the outside there. Massive fire there as well, so the oven or fire out there would have been an afterthought. I'm guessing this has been put here. It's locked. Oh, maybe able to open it actually. Now a fire extinguisher, but that would have probably been put there to dry things, possibly clothes if you've been working out in the fields. Got lights going up here. And a shut door. Will it open? Yes, it will. Oh, wow! Another fireplace there. An extremely modest bed. So this one's actually quite a posh house, isn't it? Because you've got glass in the windows in this one. Lovely view. And it's actually quite warm in here. No fire lit. Just the standard timber and water and door walls for insulation, but yeah, not cold. Do need a little bit of headroom though. These beams are very, very low, so can barely fit inside this house. So over time they've managed to just make these buildings fit in their current surroundings. So this house almost looks like it's always been here. Got the vegetable patch down there, storage shed, and a traditional orchard for fruit. Even got some pears on these trees by the looks of things. This is Popular Cottage, moved from Washington Common, West Sussex, and rebuilt here. Supposedly this was the home of a landless farm labourer. Traditionally set up in here, so we've got plants drying out to be preserved here. The fireplace. Looks like a workman's shop here. I guess the food would be prepared and cooked in this area. Let's have a look upstairs. Oh. These buildings aren't made for tall people, but at least they put some lights on in here, so this is great. Little baby's crib. Wow, this is 2 bedrooms. Quite posh, and another take on the windows. So we saw before they were using shutters here, stretching linen over a lattice pattern. So this is shown as the medieval house. Unfortunately it's all locked up and boarded up, so we can't go and have a look in. Even the notice board looks like it needs a little bit of work. So right here we've got the schoolhouse from West Wittering, West Sussex, from the 1840s. It just goes to show how small the populations were. Can't really imagine that being big enough. So to the market square, where we can see quite a large selection of houses. Probably the most memorable part, and where in Weald and Downland they carry out most of the functions. So this one's simply called The House, dating from the 15th century. Let's go upstairs as well to explore. Standard fireplace upstairs and downstairs. Get a view over the market square from here. Quite common on these properties, you've got indoor and an outdoor. This one was put here and moved from Warburton, West Sussex. This is the Whitaker's cottage, moved here from Ashstead in Surrey, dating from 1860. Interesting to see, we've got these 2 different textures on the property. Glass on this one as well. This one they've left all of the interior exposed, so you can see how a building works. So this is interesting. This is surveyor's chains, and back in the 1990s when I was training to become an architect, we didn't necessarily use these, but we did know about surveyor's chains, so a little peek from my history there. So this area is undergoing some landscaping, so it seems to be a little bit of chaos Sadly, this building over here I don't seem to be able to access anymore. I do remember accessing it the last time I came. It does look like we can go up inside the market house, I think it's called. So this is the market hall, dating from 1620. Moved here from Hampshire. I'm guessing these windows were a later addition. Also the brickwork. I'm guessing this would be the place that you do your trades downstairs, and then all the accounting done upstairs. I think on my last visit actually you couldn't get into this, so things are constantly evolving. It's very rare to find these natively, but this is a mile marker, and this would be put by the side of the road so you knew basically how many miles it was to a certain location. So here we have another medieval house dating back to the 15th century. I moved here from Kent. So, main hall in the centre here, and then either end we've got these I think they call them solar sections. Not much to see in this one. That looks like your dining room. And stairs again in this one. This one's empty. We've got some great views out looking over the mill pond. So interestingly, don't see a toilet on this one, so this would have been in the age of outhouses, I'm guessing. And this one they're using hinged shutters on rather than the sliding variety. Nothing on this side. Great views there of the mill pond and the visitor centre. Now this building is just simply labelled the house, and it's been moved here from Lavant in Sussex. This is 17th century. Currently being used, you can't go in there, but being used for training purposes. But interestingly, it says that the interior was destroyed by fire. Picture doesn't look much like the building itself, but definitely being used for training purposes if we poke the camera inside. There's a lot of industrial buildings here, this one being a pug mill for preparing clay. A horse would just turn its shaft located in the centre, and got the windmill down in this direction, so we're going to head down there. Slip of the tongue, not a windmill, a water mill, and right next to it we've got the bakery that is actually baking food today. So here's the water mill, as you can see not currently in use. This is the water wheel. The museum do actually use the water mill for grinding flour, so you can buy flour that has been locally grown and ground in this mill. So the mill dates back to the 17th century and was moved here from a place called Lurgashell in Sussex. You can see all of the intricate wooden cogs that are made to make this possible. I think we can get upstairs, but we'll have a quick look just to see. No, that's the sluice from the mill pond. To go down there. When the mill is in operation, you often do find that people are in there and you can watch the milling in action. So this interesting building is a dairy dating back to 1807. Moved here from Surrey. 2 octagonal buildings, and calls itself a dairy, but having a look inside, looks to be like it's probably used for cheese making rather than actually milking cows. It's all built of brick and not that old, so no surprising. It's very well preserved in here. So for those of you that don't know, the BBC's repair shop has been in this location since 2017. We're not allowed, there's no public access now. I do remember back in the olden days when that was a barn that you could go into and they would have display items in the barn now, but yeah, completely taken over by the BBC. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video exploring the Weald and Downland Museum. If you do like this type of video and history, then please subscribe to the channel, because it will help me to share my content across YouTube. And thank you very much for watching.